Oh, hey, welcome to my desk. Today I'm going to be drawing Matisse. So this past weekend, I just went to a Matisse exhibition, a collection of paintings by Matisse and other artists that was on loan from the Pompidou Center in Paris. And it was really inspiring, honestly. I really loved it, and it inspired me to make this video. And I've had this book for kind of a long time, and I was just going through it to see if I could choose a good painting to draw. And I did settle on one. It was kind of hard because there's so many good ones, but let me see if I find it. Where'd it go? Oh, here we go. It's called The Dance, or I think in English, just Dance. So, we're gonna do that one. I just felt like it was one of the more iconic images from him, although there are so many. Alright, so I'm going to start by making this box just to contain the painting and give myself kind of a reference for where to stop. And I literally just measured the painting on my computer screen to get this ratio. So I'm just going to be doing around 11.5 by 7.5 centimeters. And I'm going to start with this figure here on the left here. And I'm just going to go like bit by bit, trying to make sure I can fit them all in this box. But Matisse is just one of those artists that for me just really speaks to me. I think something about him, and this time I just find it really inspiring and cool, just the style of it, and his contemporaries. A lot of those artists from that time have really been a major influence for me, I would say. Not that I'm special, but this is the kind of style that I've really always liked. I actually have a tattoo of one of Matisse's designs. It is a leaf. I talk a little bit about it in my tattoo video, where I talk about all my tattoos. I can put the link below if you want to watch that. But that leaf actually is from his very last years as an artist. He in his later years kind of lost the ability to paint, but because he was just such a creative person, he had to continue to make art, and he did so with paper, cut out paper, because that was really the only way he was able to create images anymore. I'm not sure why. I think maybe he had arthritis or something like that. I'm not sure. But I just think that's really cool. And it speaks to, the artistic spirit that he had. That he just had to keep going into his, his last days. And he was a bit of a, figure in his time. A lot of artists have, like, their fame, their rise to fame after they die. Like, Van Gogh was a good example of that, who famously never sold a painting in his lifetime, except for to his brother, I think, something like that. But Matisse was not like that. Henri Matisse. He was like friends with all the movers and shakers and stuff like that at the time, in the early 20th century. And a lot of people in his orbit were doing similar things to him, like Picasso and like Juan Gris, I think, some people like that. And he was also part of this like group of Paris thinkers and I guess influencers of the time. Namely, what was her name again? Something Stein. Dang it, why can't I remember? This American art collector. I can't remember her name. I can remember her partner was Alice B. Toklas. But she had like this group of people, like artists and writers and things that would all hang out and talk, and they would be like patrons of the arts, and inspirations for a lot of these influential artists. And he was in with that crowd. And he was a little bit older than Picasso, but they were like lifelong friends that, I mean, you can just tell that they were influences on each other, which I think is kind of special. But, not to get into all the nitty-gritty of, maybe the controversial elements of these artists' lives, which I never really learned a lot about when I was in school. I took a lot of art history classes, but in a lot of them, there weren't a lot of conversations about the artists' lives. We didn't really learn about that. We just learned more about the work itself, and that was it. It was only like later when I started to learn some of the more sordid details of these times. But by that point, I was already pretty influenced. Alright, should we color it? Let's color it. I did find, try to find some colors that matched this painting as best I could, but I didn't really have that many options to choose. It's not perfect, but I think it captures the spirit of the color combination, I do like this kind of bluish green for the grass. It's funny, there's actually another version of this painting with slightly different colors. The figures are more of a pink color, and that was like a study that Matisse had done for this painting, because it was actually a commission by this rich Russian art collector who later donated this and its companion piece, which is called Music, to some museum in St. Petersburg, I think. And I saw the study in New York a few years ago. It's at the Whitney Museum in New York, and it was very, very cool to see, honestly, as a fan. Alright, let's go ahead and do this blue background. Oh no. I can feel that this blue pencil is gonna break. It's a bit wobbly. Let's see how far I can take it before I have to sharpen it. These pencils, they always break on me. It's really annoying. I need to get new colored pencils, but I'm not sure which brand I want to get. Alright, let me see if I can go a bit. Oh, you know what? I forgot. That part of the arm. Alright, let me just sharpen this now. And the problem with this too is that I also, like, it breaks when I sharpen it, so it's one of those things that I have to be very careful all the time. And this one's getting pretty short, so I don't know how many more sharpenings it's gonna be able to take. But like I said, I want to get some different colored pencils anyways. So if you know of a good brand that you like, please let me know. It's funny, I don't usually color on this channel. It's usually just the drawing, which is much faster, I'm noticing. This has taken me kind of a long time to fill in. Like doing this on camera, well, first of all, even drawing on camera, it's taken me a lot of time to get used to, because I'm used to, honestly, drawing really slowly and without, any eyes on me. It's definitely a different feeling. And I'm still not completely used to it, but I just thought I should practice, because I like the idea of just sharing the process with someone and feeling like, a little bit I'm doing this with someone, But I do feel the pressure to draw faster than I normally would and make fewer mistakes, because I don't want to be boring for you. which I understand is like a little bit, not ironic, but, you know, counterintuitive maybe, because this is meant to be a relaxing video that puts you to sleep while I just draw, but still somehow in my head I feel like I gotta rush through these drawings, you know, and not be too slow, otherwise it'll be boring. But I want to practice being a little bit a bit slower, you know, with this kind of thing, and just, you know, see if y'all like that. Maybe this video will be a little bit longer than what they usually are, but I don't know, maybe that's a good thing. You tell me, let me know how you feel. Not that you have to tell me, but I'd be curious if there's more of an interest for like longer, less tight videos, you know. But enough about that. Let's just focus on finishing this painting or drawing. And, you know, I do like this little messiness to it. You know, I'm not going to try to make fill in everything perfectly, because, you know, this is, at the end of the day, it's still sketch, but I kind of like the way it looks like this anyways. I do feel all that, after having said all that, that I'm still kind of rushing. But, you know, just trying to strike balance. But yeah, so this is the dance, or just dance, I think. And that's it. I'm finished. Alright. Well, I hope you like this one. Let me know in the comments what you think of Matisse and his work. And I'll see you in the next one.